Welcome to my tutorial on embroidery, where we will be talking about the basics of embroidery, a classic technique that dates back thousands of years, used in various cultures. Embroidery is the art of decorating fabric with threads, yarns, or any fiber. There are a multitude of stitches, but today we're just going over the basics. All right, and welcome to our embroidery tutorial. Let's go over the things that you will need. Some of the tools that we will need today are an embroidery hoop, fabric, a needle, thread, and while not completely necessary, a threading tool. A threading tool makes threading your needle substantially easier. It is highly recommended that you have it. If not, you might spend 8 minutes alone trying to thread your needle. All right. Step one is to procure your fabric. Once you have your fabric procured, you can start. There are a multitude of different fabrics. You can use an old t-shirt, you can use a mesh like so, or you can use a taunt fabric like this that you get from any craft store. Step one is to take your hoop, make sure that it is untightened where you can remove the two pieces. This embroidery hoop is, once again, not a completely necessary tool for this project, but it will make your fabric taut. I could go straight in, but as you can see, this fabric folds. It doesn't hold its shape perfectly. So that's when you come in, you attach your fabric to your hoop by putting it over one part of the hoop. Then you place your other hoop on top of it. Once it is secured to the tautness that you like, the tightness that you like, you will tighten it back up like so. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Once it is as tight as you want it, it is time to prepare your needle and thread. So what you will do is you'll take your needle, and like I said, if you don't have a needle threader, all you will do is put your twine thread through the hole of your needle, the eye of your needle, like so. And bam, it's connected. Or you can use your threading tool, which you should get something much like this in any sewing kit. And you will put the hoop of the threader through the eye of your needle. Then you will take your thread and you will run it through the center of your hoop, like so. Then you will run your needle onto the thread, going the long way. You can remove your threading tool. You can tie a knot. Any old knot will do. There are a bunch of different ways you can tie a knot, but any way that keeps your needle attached to your thread is the appropriate way to tie your knot. Now, there are a lot of embroiderers and fiber artists who have all the techniques and tricks out, but we are learning the basics today. Now, what you can do, I like to cut off this excess thread because I feel that it's just slightly in the way. You don't have to, but I find it makes your work a lot easier. Once again, you could also cut your thread from the spool where your thread is wrapped around. You could do that, or you could leave it attached. I'm going to leave mine attached because I am only using one color in this project. Now, you can go down like so, or you could poke up. I'm going to poke up like this from the concave side, or the side that's a little bit more like a bowl. And I'm going to do it near the bottom, and that's going to be my starting thread or stitch. Now, you can begin. Depending on where you put your first stitch is going to determine a lot. There's a lot of rules to stitching. There's a lot of different styles of stitches. We showed you that right before this tutorial started. But just as stated in the very beginning, we're just doing the basics here, and we're learning this basic body movement. So you're gonna poke your needle through and pull it through to where it's nice and taut. I use taut instead of tight, as it's a technical term, but they're very closely related. They, I do believe, are synonyms, but a good way to think of it is not everything that is taut is tight, or not everything that's tight is taut, but everything that's taut is tight. And then you will just continue to stitch your work. You can go in any number of patterns. I'm trying to get a nice spiral going on here, but it might evolve into something else. I'm going to show you that now. All right, and that is what I am left with. I have some wonderful little stitches there. Now, you can do some pretty amazing things with embroidery, as we showed you at the beginning, and you can make some not so amazing things. But no matter what, it's best to remember that to get good at anything takes a long time. And now you have the basic tools to get started on your embroidery journey. I'm excited to see what you can do. Thank you.